Peace. Happy now. Oh, I'm not gonna sing it. Now is the vibrate. We're not going too far in the past. We're not going too far in the future. Right now. Matter of fact, catching just right in time. Talk about the new moon in Sagittarius. You could basically say, matter of fact, I'm doing this video now in real time on Monday. So basically, the new moon is today, and it started on the East Coast, basically in the morning. So you could kind of say like late last night, you know, on the 17th, or basically this morning. But the new moon, again, is always like a beginning of a cycle, and always use the personification too, like as above so below. Like what the moon is actually doing personifies the energy that goes along with it. So a new moon is when the moon is like basically it's in the sky, but it's dark, like you see in the dark side or whatever. But basically you can see it as like the moon has its back turned to everybody and it's consulting with itself, you know. Basically it's like, you know, like if you go in a corner somewhere and you're just kind of getting yourself together, meditating, doing what you got to do. That's basically what the new moon deals with, and again, bringing in new cycles. And now, which I don't know how long is lasting, but we're also in a Mercury retrograde, and that also deals with reflection and kind of being like introverted, you know what I'm saying? So it's double the reflection and, you know, the looking back, reflecting and looking at things, you know, and see what you got to do moving forward, what you got to, you know, change, keep more of, get rid of, whatever the case may be. He's also dealing with the Sagittarius energy, which is connected to Jupiter. So it's, not only is Sagittarius a fire sign, so it's a fiery energy, but also dealing with being adventurous and exploring and expanding like Jupiter. You know, Sagittarius is the traveler, you know, the nomadic person, the philosopher, you know, basically. And you know, the arch, the arrow, you know, is basically like aiming the intention, you know, the sign of Sagittarius, you know. And matter of fact, in that part too, I know I'm getting into all that. Matter of fact, my pineal gland. It's funny because you try to fit all the information, and I know y'all see me deal with that all through my videos. I'm doing it right now, but anyway. But you know, you try to fit like all the information that you know dealing with. So if I'm talking about new moon and it's in Sagittarius, well, let me tell everything I know about Sagittarius. Let me tell everything I know about Mercury retrograde. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of finding that sweet spot of like giving y'all little, you know, insiders on other things, but sticking to the subject, you know. But the new moon is in Sagittarius, so it's also dealing with new beginnings and reflecting, but also adding a fiery energy to it, in the essence of like, you know, it's time for us to, you know, expand and do a little more exploring and being more adventurous. Is going to add that energy to the full moon. But for sure with the Mercury retrograde, you know, and Mercury retrograde again, you know, it gets that bad name, like, oh, Mercury retrograde, like, things gonna go crazy, my computer gonna shut down, this and that. And I always tell people, you know, be aware of, like, you know, just be careful with electronics, you know, be aware, you know, and be conscious of how you communicate, because that's what deals with communication. Be careful and conscious of you dealing with your commerce, things of this nature, but it's not nothing to be scared of, you know what I'm saying, to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying, giving it that power, you know what I'm saying, to basically control your life in essence. Like I said, we're influenced by, of course, all these vibrations of these planets, but you could give it more power by like, oh, you know, like, oh man, when the moon full, I do this and that, and I can't, you know, like, you kind of you're giving those things extra power over you, you know what I'm saying? Especially like when you fear anything that you fear or anything that makes you mad has power over you, you know. So in essence, you could think about it like that too. But also the main theme in whole, you know, matter of fact, which of course it always kind of pops up on our journey, but it's really about, you know, for sure, you know, aligning with your truth And right now, being risky too is like being risky and aligning with that truth. You know, like sometimes aligning with your truth, not gonna be, you know, making sure I give my job a 2 weeks notice. And, you know, I got my everything set up for me to get money and this and that. Like, you know, like everything may not be peachy to your ego or to your physical being. You know, like some of the things that are beneficial for your soul, your ego may find is a problem. You know what I'm saying? So it's about taking those risks, even if your ego is a little scared too. You know, make those moves or a little skeptical. You know, and again, because it's, you know, ego likes being comfortable, but it's also, you know, just that's being scared of choice. You know, and I mean being scared of change. I'm sorry, being scared of that change, and that basically change is what, in essence, you know, stops the ego from keeping the identity. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep an identity if you're constantly growing. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason why, you know, when we're dealing with our ego, why a lot of us may be scared of growth, in essence. You know, but you definitely want to be risky and align with your soul purpose. You know, with your truth. And also, Saturn is making this return to Capricorn. You know what I'm saying? Capricorn. Which was funny. I'm doing it, and it's like I'm like so Sagittarius, Capricorn cusp, like, because again, I always talk about the 13 astrology, you know, where I'm a Sagittarius on that sign, but Capricorn. But Saturn is making this return to Capricorn, so its energy, Saturn deals with the physical, you know. Matter of fact, like the black box, the cube, the hex, you know, but being in the physical boundaries, you know, responsibility, you know, constructs, you know what I'm saying? Also Chronos, Father Time, you know, and winter energy, because that's another thing too. We're moving into the winter solstice. Matter of fact, on December 21st is when the sun, basically when the sun lines up directly, in essence, with the Tropic of Capricorn. Basically, that's when the sun moves to Capricorn and signifies the winter solstice. And that's also your in the Helios Biblos, aka the Sun Book, or aka your Holy Bible. You know, the story. Matter of fact, everybody who's going to buy gifts and all this stuff that y'all getting ready, you know, for this holiday called Christmas. You know, the winter solstice is what this is all really about in the movement of, you know, things in the cosmos, things, you know, planets and, you know, constellation stars and different bodies in the cosmos. So again, December 21st, when the sun rays, you know, basically line up with the Tropic of Capricorn, you know, that's the moment when the winter solstice begins. And that's why, like, you know, when the sun, you know, like all those stories about rising again and, you know, and having to go down and ascending into hell, you know what I'm saying? In the winter, you know, the hell, because hell is not hot, hell is cold, you know what I'm saying? Saturn, that's what Satan is. Satan, Saturn, cold, boundaries, constructs, heavy metals, lead, you know, heavy metal, you know, but all that. And Saturn, though, Saturn energy, though, significantly dealing with this new moon in Sagittarius, is Saturn is making us pay attention to the physical realm. You know, what's really going on in our reality. You know, basically, too, Saturn is, in essence, that opposite to the energy of, like, Neptune. Like that dreamy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, kind of like, because I don't want to say letting things be illusion, but, you know, Neptune does have that dreamy vibration, and is, you know, not dealing with the construct, you know, being more fluent, more feminine energy, you know what I'm saying? In the opposite, you know, in opposite polarity to Saturn, you know what I'm saying? So Saturn has more of that physical boundary vibration. So right now, again, Saturn is making us pay attention to the physical realm. You know, of course, and this where, you know, balancing things out and understanding fully that, you know, because Saturn is saying, hey, pay attention to the physical realm, does that mean to say, oh, does that mean I'm not a vibrational being and I got to pay attention to being a human fully and this and that? No, you still understand that you're a vibrational being working in the physical, but you know, say for instance, of course it's about dreaming, and of course it's about visualizations, but basically what Saturn is telling us, those visualizations is good, you know, the meditations is good, everything is good on the non-physical level, but don't forget about inspired action, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget, and I'm adding to say inspired action because, again, you know, you don't want to be pushing through things and motivating yourself, like basically like having to have a motive or to push yourself to do something. You want to be inspired. You want to have your higher self say, boom, go and do this, boom, go and do that, instead of your ego feeling like, oh man, I ain't got no money, man, let me go force this situation to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's more about, you know, allowing that inspiration to come through, and then acting, you know, acting upon your, matter of fact, and acting out of alignment, you know, aligning yourself first, and then, you know, moving in the physical. But it's definitely about, you know, making moves in the physical, you know, and that's to each his own. If you are, you know, making moves, because some of us, you know, we all got our own unique vibrational signature, we all got our own unique soul purpose, and we're doing different things with, you know, with what we're doing. So even though, because I always want to keep in mind that it's no like, hey, Saturn saying everybody got to work through the physical realm, boom, and then hit a gavel. Like, no, you know, they got people that's gonna do work in a non-physical, and that's their job. Like, you know, that's their purpose, is to stay, you know, even though they're in the physical. Like I always explain with like some yogis who meditate and you know, make things manifest through just strictly, you know, being from bringing down energy from the astral planes and things of this nature. But again, you know, Saturn is just saying, hey, if you really want to make things happen, you might want to I'm sorry for this page keep flipping too. If you really want to make things happen, you might want to just pay attention to physical. Of course, be dreaming big, of course, because that's another thing too. Be risky, you know, align with your soul purpose and dream big, you know, because again, Sagittarius, Jupiter, expand and dream big. But basically like dream big, but keeping things in perspective. Like that's basically like the, you know, on a physical level, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course, you know, you manifest whatever you want and desire, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you focus on, the words you speak, you know, whatever you visualize does manifest in the physical. But again, it does take some time to take some inspired action on some things, you know. So Saturn definitely pushing that into the story. And also, most important, other than being risky and lining up with your soul purpose, is stop pretending. Like, matter of fact, what's funny, since I've been on this mushroom elixir, this chaga mushroom, but I'm gonna do a video on, like, it's been opening my pineal gland. And what's funny, how opening my pineal gland been getting me back, like, fully authentic. Like, I've been like, just like, what's funny though, sometimes it's like authentic to what you would say a fault, but I don't care if I'm so truthful that I make things awkward. Like, I'd rather be in that authentic place, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels so much good to not, like, it's nauseating to be around fakeness, and when I catch myself picking up on the vibration of fakeness and it start coming out of me, and I'm like, like, come on, dog, like, have a real conversation, speak, you know what I'm saying? Like, be real, you know. So important. And reason why it's so important, because just like the eclipse, where, you know, it purged you and it pushed you and it showed you your shadow self and you had no choice but to see your shadow self. Well, if you continue to pretend and not be your authentic self and not speak authentically what you feel and what's authentically moving through your body, your brain, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not being authentic and you're pretending, you're setting yourself up for disaster, because the universe is going to teach you lessons by, you know, by putting you on blast, by basically showing, like, how much you're pretending. And it's going to put you in situations that's so embarrassing. And I don't want to make it like this, but just to show you the context of it, like, so embarrassing, you're going to wish you transition. That's the best way to put it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so would you rather, you know, deal with, you know, being embarrassed by trying to, you know, hold on to pretending? Or do you just want, you know, purge yourself and just, you know, deal with your soul purpose? And of course, you know, sometimes this may be difficult things, you know. When I speak on these things, you know, I don't speak on to make, oh yeah, it should be a cakewalk for everybody. You know, of course, it takes a little strength, you know, whatever, but I put it like this, you know, you got to use some type of logic to push yourself, you know, forward, you know what I'm saying? Like with me, I'm like, universal is either insanity or do this, you know what I'm saying? It's either, you know, not get all the things you desire or do this, you know what I'm saying? Even though the change or whatever it is may seem like, oh, you know, like, man, like, you know, that ego, like, damn, it feel hard to do this. That's somewhat of illusion. Like, it's gonna be there for the first little moment, and then when you break through, you know, you're gonna be good. But definitely gotta stop pretending. Like, no more pretending. You know, be who you really are. Like, if a conversation pop up and the majority of the people have a stance that may be against your stance, don't go with their stance just to make things smooth in the, you know, in the room. If you got to make it awkward with your truth, then make it awkward, because that's what you're here to do. You know, not make it awkward, but be your authentic self. You know what I'm saying? No matter what the case may be. You know, a lot of people. That's why, you know, again, why, you know, from a place when we're not expanding, we admire people with YouTube channels. We admire people who do music. We admire actors and all these people who get out and do things, because we know in our hearts, like, that's the thing to do, to be about your sole purpose and not care, you know what I'm saying, about what the other people think, you know what I'm saying? If you sat down and, you know, worried about what the other person was thinking before you did something, then you would never do nothing in life, you know? Matter of fact, you might as well crawl back in the womb, or, you know, never even come this way, you know, never even come to Mama Matrix in the first place, you know? But, and also true intentions, you know, which that aligns with, you know, being your true self and not pretending, but, you know, your true intentions. And I'm gonna do a video separate on that too. Like, you know, like sometimes we do things and we have sideways intents, and that's being inauthentic. Like, if somebody, like, oh, Kari, how you doing in California? But their real intent is to see if I'm gonna talk about if I'm houseless, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get information, to be nosy, you know what I'm saying? Is that authentic? You know, so were you truly asking about me being in California? Or were you, you know? And this is all, again, and it's not getting outside. I don't want to, matter of fact, keep in mind, we still talking about the new moon, the energies, you know, moving forward, but being authentic, you know what I'm saying? Not pretending. Because if you're pretending, the universe is going to bust that ass, and that's just, for lack of a better word, excuse my diction. But, you know, and I done saw, like, so much so to even, it's been busting me up subtly. And when I say, like, busting me up, you know, just, not no bad way, but say, for instance, one thing I've been noticing is when I'm talking and having conversations, the moment I even go towards talking a little bit too lengthy, or like going into like a, how can I say, saying too much, or like being somewhat egotistical in my words, you know, like kind of, you know, like being this instead of, you know, the one, you know what I'm saying? When I mean by that, by, you know, like what you're talking about is just gonna go somewhere that's not good for your spirit. But I notice, like, the moment I even start to go in that moment, like the moment I start to go in that direction with my words or the conversation, like, I'll just draw a blank. You know what I'm saying? Now, sometimes drawing a blank too be about not worrying about making the point, just, you know, giving information. It don't matter about holding on to a point. But then sometimes I draw a blank because, or I forget where I was going, you know what I'm saying? A lot of you, y'all pay attention to if y'all doing that too, where you're in a conversation, you're like, man, I forgot where I was going with that. Or just kind of like stopping, like, man, I forgot, or what, you know, right in the middle of it. That's because your higher self was stopping you from making a fool out of yourself, or stopping you from, you know, saying something, basically stopping you from talking out the side of your neck, or small talking, or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Because again, being authentic, all that small talking just for the sake of it, all that just, you know, talking out the side of your neck, like you're saying one thing, you don't really mean it. Oh man, I'm gonna do this, bro. I'm gonna start this business, this and that, and this, like, and you know you lying to yourself, like, the universe will eat you alive, and the universe being yourself. You know, your own inner being will eat you alive for not keeping it authentic. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't keep it authentic with yourself, I mean, again, what is the point? What is the point? And two, I thought of mentioning a few crystals to deal with the new moon, and just again with transformation on our growth. But well, for sure, these two more dealing with the new moon and transformation and growing into, you know, our soul purpose, but also with the riskiness. And I want to bring up Malachite, because Malachite promotes taking risks, but it also promotes synchronicity. And I brought up Moldavite too, because Moldavite also moves us strongly towards, you know, what our soul purpose is, and basically a lot of synchronicity as well. And another stone I thought of is lapis lazuli, you know, because you know, it dealing with that truthfulness, that stone of the pharaoh. So you're gonna hold yourself magnanimous. Think about, you know, like holding yourself on a level like a pharaoh. You ever saw like depicted on movies, like any depiction of any type of king or royalty? Have you ever saw them being inauthentic or lying or not having true intentions, things of this nature? You know, of course, yeah, if you did see it, that was the king that probably got murked by the people, or, you know, that wasn't righteous or whatever. But, you know, like dealing with, you know, with righteousness and being authentic, you know what I'm saying? That lapis lazuli brings in that vibration. You know, it also is a stone of truth, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to speak truthfully, and you're also connected with your higher self, you know, the third eye. So you're going to be intuitive, you know, moving through, knowing, kind of getting intuition on what direction you need to move in. And that pyrite, you know, giving you that sunny disposition, or that, you know, that solar plexus energy to move forward with that vitality, that, you know, that courageousness, you know, that confidence, you know. And also, that's why I brought up garnet and ruby, because garnet and ruby also got that passion and vitality, you know. So it's that root chakra, but it also has a little bit of that heart chakra mixed into it, you know what I'm saying, to really be passionate and move forward with what you know, what you're trying to get done. You know, basically, for lack of a better word, how they, the little phrase, put a little fire in the, yeah, so to speak. But definitely, you know, that's basically it. Again, it's dealing with new moon in Sagittarius, so dealing with the Sagittarius energy, Jupiter expanding, being, you know, adventurous energy, exploration. Also dealing with Mercury retrograde, so, you know, dealing with being reflective, a little bit of introverted, you know, matter of fact, also kind of like analytical thinking, you know, like kind of analyzing things, watching over communication. And also got the Saturn energy up in there, making sure you're keeping it real about all this situation, you know, keeping it real and being authentic, you know. But peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now.